Ask Wikipedia, and they will tell you that computer science deals with theory of computation, algorithms, computational problems, and the design of computer systems, hardware, software, and applications. Let's look for another definition. TechTerm says computer science is the study of computers and computing concepts. It includes both hardware and software, as well as networking and the internet. So very simply, computer science is about computers and coding and all the things you can do with computers. Computers are used for serious work, but you can also have a lot of fun and be creative with computers. So the course outline. Course consists of 12 units. Each unit will have 3 lessons, A, B, and C. Lesson A will cover the theory for the unit. Lesson B will be a practical exercise, and Lesson C will be a project which you may do on your own. It's optional. When you complete this course, you will have a good understanding of computer science concepts that can serve as the foundation for future study. You will develop powerful design skills that you can use in future projects of all types. So today we will cover Unit 1. Unit 1 is making with the microbit. So the microbit is for making. What is the microbit? Well, you all know what a personal computer is. And personal computers can be desktops or they can be laptops. You also get smartphones, which are also computers. But we'll be using something called the BBC microbit. The BBC microbit is a computer, but it's been designed specifically for teaching computer science, and you can use it to make all sorts of fun projects. And we'll go into more details on exactly what it is in Unit 2. But you can see that you can make fun things with it. Okay, so what is making? People are creative. People like to make things. However, acquiring the required skills takes time, and the required equipment could be very expensive and difficult to acquire. That's changing. Computers and the internet are reducing the barriers to making. Tools have become smarter, design software has become more powerful, and together they make it easier to go from concept to a working prototype. The internet has contributed in a big way. By sharing and collaborating, it's now easier than ever to develop an idea into a product. You can start building using designs shared by others. You can find people with complementary skills with whom to collaborate, and you can create prototypes and improve quickly to a final product. So what we'll learn in Unit 1, design thinking and coding by design. We'll have an exercise where you interview a partner, or you can interview yourself, to imagine an ideal pet that you will create using a microbit computer. And you will create a definition statement and draw prototypes. What is the design thinking process? Whatever you build with code should serve a purpose or fill a need. So it's got these steps. The first step is empathize. You learn about your target audience. Now, when I was learning computer science decades ago, we didn't have this step. This is like trying to get into the head of the person who wants you to develop something. You have to try to understand why they want what they're asking you. Okay, so that's empathize. Define, understand, and identify your audience's problem and need. Again, when I was studying computer science, we called this requirements analysis. We had to understand what the requirement was. Then ideate, brainstorm several possible creative solutions. So you come up with one or more ideas, you can throw them around, and you try to find the best ideas. Prototype, you construct rough drafts or sketches of your ideas. And then test, you test your prototype solutions and refine until you come up with the final version. So you usually go through those last 3 steps over and over in a cycle, refining the concept until you can come up with a final version that your target audience is happy with. Okay, so we start off by interviewing your partner or yourself about their ideal pet. You need to ask questions so that you can understand exactly what it is that they want and why they want it. These are just some suggested questions. Do you have a pet? What is it? If you don't, what kind would you like? Why? What do you like and dislike about your pet? Is there anything you wish your pet could do? Why? What kind of activities would you do with your pet? How would you care for it? Where would it live? Tell me about your ideal pet. Okay, so you're asking all the questions you can think of to understand why your target audience wants what they're asking for. Prototype diagrams. Okay, you need to draw some sketches. They suggest 5 here, but it can be more, it can be less. But you need to make sketches of ideas to see which ones fit your partner's needs the best. You then gather feedback to check what they like and what they don't like. And for this exercise, you should get creative. It doesn't have to be a real animal. Just make something up. Okay, so these are just some ideas, and you can see that here they're using a microbit as part of the pet. The microbit is going to be the face, or it will be something that controls something about this pet. Just draw sketches to find out what your partner wants. Okay, so let's review. What is design thinking? It's a framework for identifying problems, designing solutions, testing, and refining. What's the first step in coding by design? Understanding a need or purpose. Okay, so what we've learned in lesson A, design thinking, coding by design, interviewing to understand a need, definition statements, and prototype diagrams. Okay, and if this isn't clear to you, don't worry about it. We will be doing this over and over, and you'll understand what it's all about. Okay, so we're going to use Microsoft MakeCode and the microbit, and then we're going to have a quiz afterwards. So lesson B, Introduction to Microsoft MakeCode. And what we'll learn, we're going to open Microsoft MakeCode and import an existing program. We'll download that program to a microbit, and then we'll review what we've learned. Okay, so to import a program in Microsoft MakeCode, you have to open up a browser. The browser can be Chrome, it can be Edge, it can be any common browser. And you go to makecode.microbit.org. Alternatively, you can run the MakeCode app. This is an app that runs without a browser. It doesn't need the internet, but we're going to be using the version that runs on the browser. Okay, we want to import an existing program for our first exercise. So we're going to select Import. We are going to enter the URL that points to that existing program. And in this case, it's in the MakeCode website, and it has this code. That code points to this existing program, which is called the Smile Animation Project. So if we import this URL, we'll be opening the Smile Animation Project. And just keep in mind that when we use MakeCode, usually we'll be creating our own programs. So we start a new project, and we can come back to a project that we're working on by opening up an existing project. Okay, so after clicking Import, you click on Import URL, you copy this URL, and you paste it into the box. That will take you to the main page of MakeCode. Let's just go through what's on the main page. We've got a button that's called Home. That's to go back to the home page. We've got a button labeled Share. That's so we can share the projects we're creating. There's these two buttons, Blocks and JavaScript. This allows us to program in either Blocks or JavaScript. We'll be using Blocks for this course, but we will look at JavaScript from time to time. On the left side of the screen, there's a simulator. It shows you what your program will look like running on a microbit. And note that you can do this whole course without actually having a microbit, because you can always use the simulator to test your program. The simulator has a toolbar for controlling it, and we'll see what that does later. In the middle of the screen, we've got a block toolbox. The toolbox has got these categories like basic, input, music, LED, and so on. And you can click on any category to see all of the blocks for that category. On the right side of the screen, we've got a programming workspace. where we will build the program. We build a program by taking blocks out of the toolbox and putting them together on the workspace. And we'll take a look at this program just now. At the bottom of the main page, we've got a download button. This is to download the project to a microbit. So once we've got it working, if we want to run it on a real microbit, we connect the microbit with a USB cable and we click on download. Whenever we're working on a project, we need to save it to a file so that we don't lose our work. So we always give it a name. In this case, we've imported one that already is called Smile Animation. And then you click on the Save button to save it to a file on your local personal computer. Finally, there's an Undo and Redo buttons. You can undo any mistakes you make. And there's a Zoom in and Zoom out so that you can zoom in and zoom out on your workspace. Okay, so to download a MakeCode program to a microbit, we're going to connect the microbit to the computer using a micro USB cable. We plug one end of the cable into the personal computer, and the other side of the cable plugs into the microbit. Then in the MakeCode project, we click on Download, and this will create a file with a .hex extension, and that file will be copied to the microbit. And if for any reason it doesn't do this automatically, you'll see the file being created and you can copy it to the microbit, which shows up as a drive in the Explorer. When we're finished copying a program to the microbit, we can disconnect the USB cable and we can connect the microbit to a battery pack, and then the microbit can run that program without being connected to the computer. And then we can carry it with us. It doesn't have to be close to the computer. Okay, so let's open up a browser and try this now. Okay, so this is the Chrome browser. You can also use other browsers. When you want to open up MakeCode, you type in makecode.microbit.org, and that takes you to the home page. If you're going to create a new project, you can click on New Project. If you've had projects you were working on, you would see them over here and you can open them. But in this case, we're going to import a project. So we click on Import, and then we want to import it from the microbit site. So we're going to click on Import URL. Okay, and now I've got to copy that URL. And paste it in here. So you see that's the same URL we saw in the slide. And we click on Go Ahead. It creates a new project and takes us to the main page. Okay, and as you can see, this is the main page with the Home button, the workspace, the toolbox, and the simulator. Okay, let's take a look at this program. We've got a block here called Forever. Where did it come from? If we go through these categories, under Basic, we've got Show Number, Show LEDs, Show Icon, Show String, Clear Screen, and down here we've got Forever. So the Forever block came from the Basic category. The next block says Show Icon, and it's got a smiley face icon. The next block says Pause Milliseconds, 5,000, so it pauses for 5,000 milliseconds, so that's 5 seconds. The next block says Show Icon and a frowning face, and it pauses for 5 seconds again. And because they're all inside the Forever block, it will keep on repeating this forever. So we'll show a smiley face, pause for 5 seconds, show a frowning face, and pause for 5 seconds, and goes back to showing a smiling face, and so on. And you'll notice that it is doing it in the simulator. You'll see that there's a smiley face, and then a frowny face. After 5 seconds, it goes back to the smiling face, and after 5 seconds, it goes back to the frowning face, and so on. Okay, let's download this to a real microbit. I've got a real microbit here. Okay, this is an actual microbit. And I'm going to connect it to my personal computer using a USB cable. And you've got to be careful to do it the right way around. And you'll see a yellow light cable that shows that it's getting power from the computer. And it is now connected. So now I'm going to click on the download button and look at that yellow light. You'll see that it flashes for a bit, and then it says on the computer, it says download complete. So now the program is on the microbit. And if I turn it over, we see the front. You can see it's got a frowning face and now a smiling face, frowning face, and so on. Okay, now I can disconnect it from the computer, move the USB cable, and now I'm going to connect power using batteries. And we'll see the program runs again with a smiling face, frowning face, and so on. So the program is running without being connected to our personal computer. The program is running on the microbit. Okay. Now, whenever you're writing a program, you need to save it so you don't lose anything. It's already got a name because we imported it. If we click on save, it will now save it to our local computer in a file. Okay, and you'll see it has saved a file on the local computer. We can even show it. It's in my downloads folder. There it is. So that's our program, saved to the local computer. Okay, and let's just see, we can zoom in. And we can zoom out. Okay, so we'll be working more with this in Unit 2. When we're done, we can go back to the home page. And now you'll see that our smile animation is here. So if we want to work on it later, we can come back to the Make Code website, click on Smile Animation, and it will take us to this program. Okay. So let's now look at the quiz. Okay, true or false, code or a program gives instructions to a computer to tell it what to do. That, of course, is true. From the Make Code homepage, how do you get to the programming workspace? Okay, you can start a new project, you can open an existing project, or you can import a program. So that's all of the above. What are two ways to power the microbit? As we saw, we can connect it to a computer with the USB cable, or we can connect it to a battery pack. How do you get a program onto the microbit? You connect it to the computer with a USB cable, and you select the download button from the Make Code project. What is a simulator? That's the area of a microcode project that shows how a program looks when it's run on the microbit. How many programs will a microbit hold at one time? Okay, it only holds one program. Whenever you download a program to the microbit, it replaces whatever program had been there before. It is not like a personal computer where you can have more than one program running at the same time. So what we learned, we imported a program in MakeCode. We learned about the layout in the MakeCode project. We downloaded a program to the microbit, and we connected the microbit to the battery pack. Okay, so now for lesson C, you want to design and build a micropet project. Okay, so designing and building a micropet. Okay, the project expectations, you want to review your interview notes, design statement and prototypes, then think about, will it be an animal, plant, robot, bug, something else? Will it have any moving parts? If it moves, how can it hold the microbit securely? And then you'll build a micropet that matches your partner's needs or your own needs and supports the microbit so you can easily turn it on and off, and it has to support the battery pack. Okay, you mustn't glue or draw on the microbit. The microbit is an electronic device. It is delicate. You have to be careful not to damage it, and you don't want to do anything permanent to it, so you don't glue on it. You can hold it down with elastic, maybe with some press stick, but don't do anything like glue. Okay, and these are just some project ideas. So you can do all sorts of things with the microbit. Okay, now these are some modification ideas. When you've finished a project, the project is never actually finished. You can always improve it, you can always add to it, you can always make changes. So these are some modification ideas. You can find a way to make part of the animal move, give the animal a natural habitat, create a way to carry the animal, create an animal that reacts when you pet it or move it. Okay, now we're just at the beginning of this course, so you won't know how to do many of these things with the microbit yet, but as we go through the course, you'll learn how to do all sorts of things with the microbit. So what we learned, we turned information we learned in interviews into a design for a micropet, and we created the micropet. So next time we'll learn how computers process information, and you'll code your own program, which you'll do in Unit 2. Okay, I'm just going to end off with a little video of some microbit projects, and then next time we'll do Unit 2, where we'll look more closely at what a microbit is and how we write software. Okay, so for today, it's bye, and I'll see you next time.